We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we record this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging.
Do you like being in control?
I like being hands-free, but then I also like being in control because I have anxiety. So bit of column A and column B, but I feel like Lovehoney has the best of both worlds.
And it has something that can enhance your sex, but you're still in control, and it's hands-free.
Oh.
And I cannot gatekeep this any longer.
I need this in my life.
It's coming right up.
And so am I.
Fuck parental guidance. This shit is MA 15 plus.
And it's with Maggie and Alex. My hands are currently in the air because I'm airing out my pits. I'm sweaty. I'm a sweaty person. I get hand sweat too.
I'm really...
They're glistening.
Oh, no, you can see it.
They're glistening.
I'm really pregnant. Did you hear that?
I'm really pregnant.
Obviously,
You're really pregnant.
No, but I meant to say I'm really sweaty now that I'm pregnant.
Oh, and it came up with, I'm really pregnant.
I just can't regulate at all.
Emotions as well. Hormones. Speaking of hormones, being a woman, all that jazz, you came into my hotel room this morning.
Yes. And we started talking about the inequality in everyday life.
The things that you don't think of. And then I had a fun fact, it's not even a fun fact. Let's call it a dreadful fact.
It is actually a horrendous fact.
And I want to share it with you. All right, are we ready? So, when a woman is involved in a car crash, she is 47% more likely to get seriously injured, 71% more likely to be moderately injured, and 17% more likely to die.
And why is that?
So I think there's a couple of reasons, but the main reason is that the crash test dummies that they use when they're working out the ratings for car safety is actually based around the 50th percentile male. So it has male muscle mass proportions, a male
density.
spinal column, exactly. And we're very different. Our bodies are created very, very different. So in 2011, the US started using a female crash test dummy. Mind you, we've been using crash test dummies since the 1950s. So it took until 2011 and they were like, oh, there's female drivers too.
Maybe.
And you think that sounds good, right? But the female crash test dummy was just actually a scaled down version of the male dummy, which was roughly the size of a 12-year-old girl.
Of course it was. Do you know what? The thing, I cannot believe that this is something that is still happening.
It gets worse.
But I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by this.
Do you want to know one more fact that I'm laughing because it makes me so angry.
It's infuriating.
What they did was they tested that scaled down male crash test dummy, which was supposed to be the female crash test dummy, only in the passenger seat.
So not even in the driver's seat?
Nope. Only in the passenger seat.
It's a man's world.
And it gets worse for pregnant women.
That's
so,
me.
I know. This is something that you're not going to like, but, no one's going to like. The number one cause of fetal death related to maternal trauma is car crashes. But we haven't created a seat belt yet for pregnant women.
Well, that's because the seatbelt, especially when you're in your third trimester, you've got your belly's out, it's big and round, and the seatbelt sits where the baby lies.
Yeah, it
so
said
the trauma,
62% of women in the third trimester, the seatbelt doesn't actually
fit them properly.
Yeah.
Well, I remember being pregnant with Max and in the third trimester getting in my car, and I'm always adjusting my seatbelt when I'm driving because it's uncomfortable. So I'm always having to maneuver it around my belly. Why the fuck haven't we come up with an alternative seatbelt for pregnant women that keeps both mother and baby safe?
I don't know the answer to that, but do you want to know?
Like, have we made any progress at all
Well,
with this?
well, we have made the first dummy that has been modelled on the average woman, and that was created in 2022.
This year. What month? What
The
time
articles,
of year?
the article started coming out in October 2022.
So 2 months ago.
Yeah, that is when the first dummy modelled on the average woman was created in 2022. Kudos to the female Swedish technician, or maybe she's a scientist, but she was like she was like the team leader. So good on Swedish people.
Yeah, but why the fuck did it take that long?
Well, you would think that because we're 47% more likely to get seriously injured, 71% more likely to be moderately injured, and 17% more likely to die, it would have been a quicker kind of jump.
Maybe we should do something about this.
I really think we should. So just like whenever someone says, feminism and we've come so far, we have in certain areas.
But if you look around, there is inequality in everyday life.
We're more likely to die in the car, guys. We're more likely to die.
And like there are other things that we also discovered when we did do a bit of a deep dive in the inequality in everyday life as well.
Yeah. And it was that a lot of high vis and a lot of eyewear, like masks and everything, they're modelled from the median face, like the average face of a male, and they don't actually fit women's faces. So we're actually more at risk on the work site as well. And like PPE gear
Doesn't fit properly.
because it's all on the average.
Male.
Yes, and we have different proportions. We're not just a
One size
watered
fits
down
all.
version of a male.
Although apparently we are.
So there you go. Inequality in everyday life, guys. Just please take more care on the roads because we're more likely to die.
Great. Okay, so Carson has this idea in his head that because we're having another baby, we need to change our vehicle. We need something a little bit more practical.
Can you fit the 2 car seats in your car?
Absolutely. I have
With Elijah?
I have a monster truck. I have a Toyota Prado.
It is so big. I can hear it coming. I can vroom, 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 vroom. And the one, oh my gosh, Alex does when she's reversing, she does the one hand on the wheel, palm spread.
Oh yeah, I'm a cool girl.
I was very impressed.
Cool, confident tractor driver.
That's amazing. I have I can't do that. I still can't reverse. I even have the beepers, you know how when you get too close to something and they're like,
oh no, mine beeps, but I just ignore it. I'm like, I actually enjoy getting as close as I can to another vehicle without touching it, or even giving it a little.
no.
Yeah.
No. I even have mine has the video. You can
I've got
see
that,
it, not the video. What's it called?
The rear camera.
Yeah. And I sometimes look, I'll be honest. I'm the person that when I'm reversing, sometimes I forget which way to turn the wheel.
No, you don't.
I actually have to do a quick little which if I turn it this way, which
righty.
way? I don't know how I got my license.
In a Wheaties box. You bribed, you flashed your little boobies and you went, give it to me.
No, do you know why? Because I only had to do a 3-point turn.
Did you actually?
I only had to do a 3-point turn. That's all I had to do and then drive the streets of Frankston.
I did it in Dramana.
Oh, Dramana was actually where my instructor wanted me to go, but then it was booked out because Dramana's the easier option.
Dramana is meant to be the easier.
Yeah, no, I got mine in Franger. I mean, doesn't that mean I'm a good driver?
My mum, funny story, my mum actually, sorry, not my mum, but, she failed her license, but my grandfather bribed the driving instructor and said he would, because he was a builder, he said he would do handyman work on his house. And, small country town, everyone knows everyone. So my mum went for her license 3 times, failed every time, my grandfather went down to, what do you call them? Back then they were called like a...
The RACV people? Public Transport, Chip Daddy coming in with big words.
Can you
Public
remember
Transport
back-
Company? I don't know.
Whatever, where you get your license. And
Vic Roads.
yeah, it wasn't called that though. Anyway, so my grandfather went down there and said, look, my daughter really needs her license.
Let me sweeten the deal, sweeten the pot.
What can I do to ensure that she gets at her next driving test? I can do work on your house. And he was like, yeah, I need this, this and this done. My grandfather did it. My mum went for her driving test the 4th time and he ticked off her license. My mum should still not be on the road. She is the worst driver. And you know what she does? Like when you're driving with her, like you're the driver, she goes, oh, like if you get too close
She's a bad passenger seat driver.
like the breathing like that.
Do you know what my
And I'm
dad...
like, I am miles away from the car in front of me.
Do you know what my dad does? That reminds me. But my dad, when I'm driving, he holds the...
like he's holding on for dear life.
He's holding the... You know
but
that
he'll
little...
be actually safe because, you know.
He's a man.
He's a man.
Yeah. But you know that little holdy
Yeah.
thing up on the window? Up on the car door? What's that called? The holdy thing.
Yeah, let's call it that.
The holdy thing.
Yeah.
He will hold on to that while I'm driving. Like, and I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, that makes me uncomfortable, Dad. And he's just like,
Yeah, 'cause then you're
I
anxious.
value my life.
I can hear the voice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress on the learning to drive and how terrible you are and my mother are at driving. But we have a massive Prado. We use it for camping. It's fantastic. I love it. I don't want to part with it because
Because you use it for camping.
yeah, we love camping. I actually had a great idea that we should all do like a team bonding camping trip.
You did, and I vetoed that. That's a no. I am not a happy camper. I don't camp. I don't
Have
do
you ever
that.
camped?
I have, and
Like-
it's not for me.
No, but like, was it like in like a caravan park?
No, it was in year 9 at Woodley, and we did this like Great Escape thing where you go and you have packs for 9 days, and you...
That's fun.
No, it's not. And there's no toilets, and there's a shovel.
No, see, I feel like there is nothing more free than taking yourself off out into a bush, which is remote. You are in nature. You have your shovel. You dig yourself a hole and pooing in a hole surrounded by nature, birds chirping, the sound of bugs. That's actually like, that's peaceful and freedom to me. That's freedom.
I love that for you. I love that for you. And I love that we're two very different people. We didn't actually know that we could disagree on anything because we have kind of the same mindsets. But I draw the line at pooing in a hole.
But if you strip it back, like strip it all back from like where we came from and getting back in touch with our roots. Doesn't that make you feel anything, Maggie?
I do like sometimes getting my coffee, my watered down coffee, because of my packet coffee that I make from my coffee machine. Brad's so upset by that. And sometimes I'll go out into the backyard and just like, you know.
Sit and have your coffee.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
And my
like
toes will be touching the grass. And that to me is like, I'm one with nature. I don't need to shit in a hole to do that. But that also shows my privilege.
Okay,
because
but what about if we were camping on at a holiday, like a caravan park, and there's like showers and toilets, but you're in a tent?
I love that again for you. I'm not coming. I wouldn't do that.
I feel like we need to.
No.
I feel like we need to have a camping trip.
You're either
No, I feel like we need. We need to. Think we need to record it. We need to document it. We need content for the. We need content for the.
There's
fans.
some things I wouldn't do for content, and there's that. I really think there's two types of people. There's happy campers, and then there's non-happy campers, and I just fit into that category.
I'm going to put something out there,
and I'm going to even say that I think if we did a poll on Instagram, it would be at least 45% would be non-happy campers.
I'm going to do one better. if we're going to do a post, and if that post gets X amount of likes and comments, we'll come up with a number that we're both happy with.
1.1 million.
No. It has to be realistic. We're only just starting
The infancy stage of a podcast.
And if that gets the traction that I am looking for,
We'll do one night.
we will do one night. But I'm talking fucking serious bush fucking camping, mate. Fucking you're shitting in a hole.
No.
I'm giving you my
No,
shovel.
you know what? I would get like gastro stop and take it so that I wouldn't, there would be no exodus from my body within that 48-hour period. I'm sweating even more. You're making me sweat
That is
more.
what we're doing. That is what we're doing.
Please don't do that to me.
Do you consent?
My hairs are standing up. My hairs are standing up.
Genuinely anxious.
I'm genuinely anxious. I'm just not a camper.
But what if?
That's fine because you know what? I trust the community that they would know that they would value my health more than camping content.
I think you will be disappointed. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a post. We're going to see what the people want. We're going to see the content that they want. And I think it's going to be you shitting in a hole. Okay. You said you like to be hands-free.
But I also like being in control because I have anxiety.
I love how you're holding the remote like I am in control. Now, the We-Vibe Sync 2, I think it's for you.
Oh, I know it's for me.
So this goes inside of you and it sits on the clitoris and probably like pushed into the vaginal wall, and your partner can enter you as well. You can be holding the remote and you can control the tempo.
I love that it's not going to move. I think that's what I love about it. And the fact that it's got this little like edging.
Oh no, but there's more.
Oh,
So
going.
just say Brad goes away for work because he's away for work a lot.
Yes, he is.
It also is an app
A free app.
where he can control it from his phone.
I
So you
mean,
guys can have fun with each other while you're apart as well.
we barely have fun when we're together, so apart will be fantastic. No, I'm joking. This is going to be fantastic.
But it's also, you could use it if you're wearing a strap on. You could use it by yourself. Like you don't necessarily need to use it with your partner.
I will definitely be using this by myself because I like the fact that it is hands-free. And I think that's going to give a different kind of dynamic to my alone time.
Yeah, and you can just be like walking around with a little,
Time for some quotey quotes. Some quotey
Well,
quotes.
I want to come up with a name for this segment. Like something, like what could be a fun name? Maybe our,
Quotey quotes.
I hate.
That's okay. That's a no.
I hate quotey quotes. Quotes.
Quote.
Anyway, we'll think about it. We might even throw it to the gang and see if they might come up with a cool name
Oh,
for it.
yes. All right. So
Quotes that are meant to be good but are not.
I'll veto that one too. That was a no. I still like quotey quotes.
I hate
Okay,
quotey
so
quotes.
fine. Whatever.
Just hit me with it.
All right. You should always finish what you start.
This one's interesting. So my mum she championed that quote through my school years. So like it was one of those things where
She would just throw out.
it's really important to finish what you start. I heard that through my entire childhood, through my teenage years. She was like, that quote to me, I'd literally hear it in my mum's voice. She championed that. And that would add
Pressure?
Is it kind of like that toxic positivity vibe of like, it's okay to not finish something that you started. Like that was the other, like that's what she said. You need to always finish what you start. And it's like accomplishing something or whatever. But to me, it would always add this, seriously, like immense pressure. Like it would just, because I would feel like a failure if I didn't finish something that I had started. I had
Yeah.
just this like sense of failure always looming over me. Like if I was a ballet dancer and I could have gone professional, and I think my mum really wanted that for me. But, I rebelled and went away from that, and she would always be like, you need to finish what you start. Like you need to see out.
It's an interesting concept. I think it brings up for me, so I think it was like just before lockdown, I was like, I'm going to start my PT course because I want to be a PT. Mm-hmm. And I really thought that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I got halfway through the course and I was like, I don't actually want to do this.
Yeah.
And I
because
was,
how do you know?
No, and
how
you don't know.
If you don't like try first. Like if you're not in it and you're not giving it a go, how do you know if that's what you want to do for your future or what you don't want to do,
And I think it takes strength to go, this isn't for me. I'm going to pivot and I'm going to change.
Away. Yeah.
And I think that's what scares a lot of people, that fear of failure. Oh, if I've set out on a goal-oriented journey,
and I don't see it through,
then I'm the problem. And I think sometimes we are the problem. Sometimes we do get in our own way more often than not. But if you get halfway and you go, it's actually not what I want. You look deeper inside and you're maybe a different person than when you started. I don't think you have to finish.
Well, it's like my sister. She's done 3 different degrees. She hasn't completed 2 degrees, but she is close to finishing her 3rd because she decided that those 2 career paths, when she got into them, they weren't for her. The first time she was like almost there. She was like, nah, I can't even get through this because I've totally lost passion and interest for it. She tried something else and she, only a few months in, she was like, fuck, again, like I cannot even put my mind and my heart into this.
Do you think that's also society's way of like, there's a right way to live our lives? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you finish school and you
finish
go
uni.
to uni, you get a job, you meet someone, you repopulate the earth, and then you die.
It's like we have to
It's a script.
Complete every chapter.
Yeah.
It's like we cannot get halfway through a chapter and then go, hang on, we're going to rewrite this, and it's not going to finish how.
And if you're the one that's rewriting against the normality script, societal script, people don't look at that in a positive light. They don't go, oh, go you for doing what you want. It's usually a lot of judgment, and the judgment probably stems from the fact that they're vulnerable in their life choices because they're going, well, I did this because I felt like I had to.
Yes.
But this person's doing something else. Like, why aren't I doing that?
Can you read the quote again for me?
You should always finish what you start.
Yeah. See, I am a strong, not always.
Yeah.
Like you don't always have to finish what you start.
Agree.
Life takes twists and turns, and that's perfectly okay.
Absolutely. Okay, the next goodie. Money can't buy happiness.
Yes, it can. Sorry.
Okay, you go.
Sorry. Like, I really want to go on a holiday. Right now, I don't have the funds to go on the holiday that I want. But would that bring me happiness? Fucking oath it would.
I think money can't buy happiness, but I think it definitely helps.
Yes.
Because
that's probably a better way to look at it.
Yeah, because I think that it doesn't matter how much money you have. I think that like you can always have
and I think you can have
human problems.
Yeah.
Just money doesn't buy you any less humanity. And when you're human equals issues.
Issues.
Yeah.
Well, I think like you can have all the money in the world and still be chasing, you know? Like I think that's a common thing with people who, are in a world of wealth.
But I also think that stems from the idea that when you're content, you're somehow like settling. And settled is like it's a very negative, there's a very negative connotation to be like, I'm content or I'm settled because you're not chasing the next thing.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, that's boring.
I really struggle with that. I struggle with actually like once you reach a goal or, being in the moment, I struggle to be in that moment.
To sit in it.
Yeah.
So you're like, I need to be on the next hustle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So
see, I think I can sit in contentment and I can sit in a moment like that. But I think it has.
Do you think you can sit in contentment with your partner and your relationship?
Well, I feel like to varying degrees I'm content in my relationship.
Because I remember we spoke about how you and Carson were in that season of it's not exciting.
Yeah.
So does that mean it's content?
Is that just constantly growing and evolving together with the changes of the times?
Well, I was thinking about it actually after we finished that episode, and it reminded me of like when you buy a house. So when you buy a house, you are really excited. You're so excited. You've bought a new house. Everything is new. You have sex in every room. There's
those were the days.
But then you also can't go to the bathroom with the light off because you're going to stub your toe because you're not used to the new house yet.
Yeah, because
Exactly. But then it gets to a point where
you know where everything is.
You know where everything is. You can go to the toilet in the middle of the night and not stub your toe.
In the pitch black.
Yeah. And if we use that as a beautiful metaphor to a relationship, I also think there's really beautiful nuggets that you can find when you're in that contentment.
So do you think that is it only at the end of our life, at the end of our journey, where we reach complete contentment? Or even then, do you think that you can get to the end of your life and be on the deathbed surrounded by your family knowing that,
we talked about death a lot in this episode.
Yeah, it's a bit dark. Sorry, guys.
Look, I think,
but do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you think that that's when you reach that destination of...
No, I don't. I did, however, there was, I don't know, I was watching, I got when you go on like a YouTube rabbit hole journey, and I started watching this guy, and I think he was like a motivational speaker, and he was saying that when you die, like let's say you believe in heaven or whatever, and the person that meets you at the gates of heaven isn't God, it's the version of you that you were supposed to become. And he's like, when I die, I want to meet that person and for them to tell me, you are me. Like you got there.
I have this weird, I don't know if it's deja vu or if you and I have actually spoken about this.
Maybe you've gone into a YouTube rabbit hole too. But it was a really beautiful thing because then to me that signified that life isn't about money. It's not about like getting things and all of that. It's actually about evolving and growing and getting to know yourself and becoming the best version of yourself. And I don't think that ever stops.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when you said, do you think I'd be content in my relationship? Because we're constantly growing and evolving and changing through the seasons. That's a hard one.
Yeah, it is. I don't know the answer to that. But yeah, money can't buy happiness. Money can help buy happiness.
It absolutely can.
Okay, next quote. Last one. If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet.
Oh.
If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet.
So is that like one of those things where if you're proud of something or you're showing joy towards something, maybe you got your promotion at work and you're climbing those ranks and you...
Are they ranks or rings? Rings on a ladder or ranks on a ladder?
Well, they're rings on a ladder.
Anyway.
But climbing the ranks.
Climbing the ranks.
I don't know.
Same.
But is it one of those things like where you like share your joy with, whether it's your friends, family, your audience on Instagram, whatever it might be? Is it one of those things where people are quick to shit on other people's happiness?
Oh, I think
like,
so,
because it's
absolutely.
a projection of jealousy.
Like, for instance, let's just say I was like, I love the show Wednesday on Netflix.
Yes, me too.
Right? But there's always that one person that's like, I fucking hated it. And it's like, you can have your opinion. That's completely fine. But, like, let someone have a moment. Like, why try and shit? Like, why then, you know, if I've gone, I loved it, why then be like, oh, but did you see that there was a coffee cup in season 1, episode 3, and did you know this about the cast member, and did you know that? And it's like, whoa.
Well, it's like people were hung up on that on Game of Thrones too. The
Coffee cup, that was a whole thing. Sansa and I don't want to talk about the end of Game of Thrones. That upset me.
I've never watched.
Probably a good thing.
Never watched. But I do think it's like, I think that quote, the meaning of it comes from
Protect your happiness.
Your happiness.
Which is sad.
It is sad.
And I think you need to, when you find your people that can clap for you, and like I'm talking about like stand up and clap for you, definitely keep them close.
Do you know what would actually be really cool? Is if like people, like our audience, they listen to these and listen to their quotes, the quotes that we are sharing and our perspective of them. But what if they have a different perspective?
Oh, I would love that. I would really, really love that.
Like a different perspective on when they
hear the quotes, what's their reaction?
What comes to your mind with it? And is it a completely different
interpretation
of what you and I think?
I love that, because I think interpretations and opinions come from a lot of like life experiences.
Yes,
so they would,
absolutely.
everyone would have that different kind of like jarring kind of
that could
opinion.
be interesting.
I love that. Okay, please do that. Please tell us your opinion on the quotes. What came to your mind? What
what's
feelings?
Your perspective of the quote, and is it different?
And we also need a name. So if you've got any names for quotey quotes, but if you do like quotey quotes, I'm here for that too.
No one likes quotey quotes.
You were warned. But thanks for listening to MA15 Plus.
Now you can send your burning questions to hello@ma15plus.au.
We want to hear from you, so please subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen to this podcast.
Did you know the longest relationship I have ever had is actually with Lovehoney?
I mean, no, but it makes sense to me.
Now, if you want to check out our spicy recommendations, please go to the show notes.
Yes, or any products that we have recommended, they will be at lovehoney.com.au/MA15PLUS. You can thank us later because you will be buzzing, you will be wet, it will be wild.
You'll just be a very, very, very happy person.
And happiness is what we're about.
And maybe you'll find a long-term relationship like me.